All right, thanks everyone for joining us today here at SunLink's Turnkey Ground Mount Solutions for Every Environment. My name is John Patrick and I'm part of the sales team here at SunLink. My colleague Clara, who's also part of the sales team and also a structural engineer, is here with me as well. She's actually going to be taking you through the product demonstration of the ground mount products and processes. Also, as we move through the presentation, feel free to ask questions using your chat window. We're going to take some time out after the LGMS, the large-scale ground mount system presentation, to answer your questions, and also we'll be answering questions at the very end of the presentation. So please feel free to ask questions at will. So let's take a look at the agenda for today's webinar. I'm going to start us off with a few words about our balance of systems approach and track record, and then Claire is going to jump right into the product specifics and for the reason why you're here today. So, SunLink, unlike other racking manufacturers, we're a total balance of system provider. We provide highly engineered roof mount, ground mount, combiner box, and wire management products to be installed as part of an integrated package. So what this does is it offers you both the convenience of a one-stop shop and the improved installation efficiency and value afforded by balance of system components that work seamlessly together. So, SunLink's balance of system solutions have been installed on over 250 megawatts of projects at more than 1,200 sites across North America. You'll note that in line with our subject of today's webinar, we have experience installing projects in every environment. And these environments include the high wind, seismic, and snow zones. So seismic that you'll find out in California, high snow zones in the Northeast, and high wind zones in the Southeast. And we've also installed in outside territories such as the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. The products that you'll see today can truly be installed in any environment. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Clara Nagy, who will walk us through SunLink's large-scale ground mount systems and ballasted ground mount systems.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you guys spending your early morning time here with us. Today I want to talk about our two ground mount systems, as JP mentioned, the large-scale ground mount system and the ballasted ground mount system. So just a little background, we basically designed these two products with three goals in mind. The first goal is simple installation, basically honing in on a few part count with few components so that there's a lot of in-field adjustability and no on-site drilling, cutting, or welding. And then, of course, we have the balance of systems approach, which JP already mentioned, which will have integrated grounding and wire management for both of those products. And then, of course, optimization. So we optimize each system for each project's unique wind and snow conditions, module type, tilt angle, string requirements, and soil conditions. So cumulatively, these goals get you the quickest installation, the lowest cost, and the highest quality products that you can expect from SunLink. So let's start with the large-scale ground mount system. As you can see, as I already mentioned, the few component goal for this product, we have actually 7 components. So let me point them out for you. First, we're going to start with the post here, the clamp plate here, the kicker, the post frame, the purlin, the module rail, and the top clamps. So I want to talk about each of those things for a second. The post, of course, is driven into the ground for this product, and you have the post clamp here, and the post frame actually gives you a large part of the structural in the north-south direction here, as well as the purlin in the east-west direction. So these are the main structural components of the system. And then the module rails here support the modules themselves in these 4x1 panels. One thing I want to mention about the top clamps is that they are UL 2703 listed, so they provide integrated grounding from the module to the rack. And that's great, so you don't have to install any lugs there. So then the second goal in mind is for the best in-field adjustability, we think, in the solar industry. So at the top of the top clamp, the post clamp here, we have 2 inches of vertical adjustability, And then we have 2 inches of east-west adjustability here at the purlin. And we also have 2 inches of north-south adjustability here. And then, like I said, optimization. So we optimize every large-scale ground mount system for each project's unique wind, snow, and geotechnical conditions. And because our boundary layer wind tunnel testing allows us to optimize the components for exterior and interior parts of the array, we can change section sizes to get you the lowest cost. And we can also vary the post spacing for each project. So let's look at a photo montage of how simply these things come together. And as you saw in the video today, it's a very efficient process. So the first thing that you want to do is stage all your components on site. So you're going to have the post frame, the clamp plate, the fasteners, and the purlin here, staged after your posts are installed. Then your team can come along and install the clamp plate, which you can see installed here, and the post frame. And then you can place the purlins as you see the 2 men in the picture doing. So what's great about the post frame here is that we actually made these saddles integrated into the post frame. So you can just have 2 people following behind you, placing the purlins as you go, and no one's actually holding anything up. They're just sitting in these saddles. And once you do that, you've completed the row. And so one of the greatest things I think about this system is that we offer pre-panelization. So pre-panelization is basically the process of assembling columns of 3 or 4 modules together with the module rails into panel assemblies that expedite installation. And as you can see in this photo, this is a pre-panelization jig that SunLink provides to you at no charge. So this will help you set up the pre-panelization panel. So you can see here some workers in our warehouse actually where we did our time and motion studies setting up a pre-panelization panel with the pre-panelization jig. So you see that the module rails are here. This is part of the jig. The module goes onto the jig here where there's stoppers located. The clamps then clamp in to the rail and the module, and you build a panel. It's really easy and it takes about 2 minutes per panel. Then you can see we also provide the actual installation jig for the panels. So the lifting jig attaches to the panel assembly, and then it can be guided into place and held there by the module rail locating hooks, which I believe you saw on the video. You can see here, this is the mechanized process that we use, where you can attach an I-beam to a grate awl and have this basically a gantry system lift the lifting jig with the panel, and it makes it really easy to put this panel onto the purlins here. And again, you can see how the person in this picture is just pushing down on the panel to install it on the purlins. And again, there's a locating hook feature on the back of the rails that will keep that panel in place so no one's going to be holding it above their head. So our time and motion studies that we did in our warehouse demonstrated that a 4-person crew working a 7.5-hour day can install more than 300 modules per day. And so it's hard for this photo to do the process any justice, so I want to open up another video, the pre-panelization video. So I hope that did the process some more justice, and you could see the mechanized process as well as the manual process, as well as the locator hook features on the back of the rail. So as I mentioned before, our time and motion studies said that a 4-person crew working a 7.5-hour day can install more than 300 modules per day, which also equates to 316 man-hours per megawatt. These are time and motion studies that we did in our warehouse. So you can see that assembling the structure takes 71 man-hours per megawatt. Pre-panelizing using the panelization jig takes 160 man-hours per megawatt. And attaching the panels takes 85 man-hours per megawatt for a total of 316 man-hours per megawatt. So there you have it. That's the large-scale ground mount system. And now we're going to be taking a short break to answer some questions that came in during the segment.
So please submit any questions if you have them. We have some questions that we want to answer right now. One question that came in, does the top clamp bite into the module to establish a ground path?
I'm going to answer that question, and yes, the top clamp does bite into the module. It actually uses a pierced feature, so the top clamps have a hole where they've been pierced, and if you look at the underside of the top clamp, you can see a metal ridge that bites into the module anodization when you clamp it down. So again, it's UL 2703 listed, so of course it does create a grounding path.
So we have another question. Someone asked, can we supply our own posts?
Yes, actually you can supply your own posts. As you may have noticed, there are holes at the top of our posts, so we would work with you to find a fabricator close to the project site to punch those holes.
Another question, can the array be sized in more than 4 rows?
I'm not quite clear on that question, but of course the array can be sized from anywhere from 500 kilowatts up to 100 and whatever we can handle. 100 plus megawatts. So the average size, or the longest row size that we would use would be 300 feet. They are continuous rows. They're not broken up into tables. So I hope that answered that question. If you would like to get a clarification, please send something over chat.
Another question that came in, is special engineering required at every site for the entire racking system?
So this system is actually pre-engineered. We've done boundary layer wind tunnel testing for all of our ground mount products, and then took that data and engineered every single site for every single wind and snow combination. So in a sense, if you contact us with a location in mind, we can give you a price based on the design for that system.
Okay, I think in the essence of time, we would like to get through to the ballasted ground mount system so we can show you that, and then we can provide you time for more questions at the end of the webinar. So with that, let's move on to the ballasted ground mount.
Okay, so again, the ballasted ground mount system was also designed using 3 goals, which we've already spoke about with the large-scale ground mount system. That's the simple installation, using a balance of systems approach, and the site-specific optimization. So this system's great for brownfield, landfills, and other environments where driving piles is difficult or essentially impossible. And it's also perfect for agricultural operations or leased land where the system might have to be relocated at a later date. So again, this system actually only has 5 components designed to have a low component count. Those components, as you can see here, are the A-frame, the clamp plate, the tilt arm, the panel mounting tube, and the panel clamps. And then we also have this integrated wire clips which come with the project. And then I want to talk about in-field adjustability. So you can see here at the top of the ballast block, you have 4 inches of vertical adjustability, and here you have 1 inch of adjustability in the north-south direction. And then, of course, the site-specific optimization. If you can see on your screen, this layout illustrates that you can use different ballast block sizes depending on where you are located in the array. So the northern most row and eastern and western edges may be larger ballast blocks than the interior, which gets you the lowest cost for the project. So let's take a look at the installation process for ballasted ground mount systems. So SunLink can provide the ballast to you, or we can connect you with a ballast supplier near your project site. And then also for high capacity and short lead time jobs, we can introduce you to a manufacturer who can bring ballast molds to the job site and actually manufacture them on site. And those people typically can do about 100 plus blocks per day. So then the ballasts are then positioned according to the layout that we provide to you. And we also provide the dog bone lifting jigs, no charge, to assist in the ballast location process. And then once those ballasts are in place, the A-frames are attached using the threaded studs. And again, that's where your 4 inches of adjustability is located. And then the tilt arms come next to basically set the module tilt here. And then the panel mounting tubes, which provide the main structural support of the system, are laid on top of the tilt arm and on top of the A-frame. And these typically come in about 9x1 panels. So you can see here, this is essentially one panel. And then the panel clamps, seen here, slide right over the panel mounting tubes to the appropriate location. And then the tubes are attached to the tilt arm and the A-frame using U-bolts. And then we also have these plastic end clamp or covers to prevent water intrusion and any rodents that want to get in there. And there you have it. I finished array. And one thing I do want to mention that I think I skipped over is that the panel clamps actually provide integrated grounding as well for this system. And then the wire management, you can see with the wire clamps that are given to you on site. So for the installation metrics, you can see here that it takes 552 man-hours per megawatt to install this system. And again, this is great. The system is great for landfill, fields, brownfields, anywhere where you can't install a post. So there you have it, the ballasted ground mount system.
Okay. Thanks, Clara. So now that you guys had a chance to learn a little bit about our products, I want to talk to you about our services. So what we do is we partner with other providers that can offer you a full range of installation services. So just to reiterate, that's geotechnical analysis, ballast sourcing and installation, post-driving, mechanical installation, pre-panelization, and module installation. So we want to follow and keep with that theme of the balance of system approach. Our goal in providing you with these turnkey services is to be your one-stop shop and a strategic partner for you. And let's just do a product recap. Our ground mount products offer you solutions for every environment. And to recap, that's high wind, that's seismic, and that's snow. With a combined low part count and a very intuitive assembly, what you get is basically a more efficient installation, which leads to a lower total installed cost. And so now I'd like to take a chance to introduce our home run combiner boxes. As we talked about the balance of system, when we talked about a roof mount system, we also have two new products called Core and Precision, along with our combiner boxes. Again, the balance of system to offer you a convenient one-stop shop. And let's just take a moment right now to answer some questions that have cropped up from our ballasted ground mount. So, one person asked, if the inner ballast blocks are smaller, how do you keep rails in line? Are they the same height but narrower?
So the ballast blocks are actually the same height, but they will change, and same length, but they will change width. So your system will be the same height across the entire array, just the width of the ballast themselves will change.
And I'm just going to go back and put the previous slide up because the question came in that asked what tilt angles are available for either system.
Yeah, so you can see here 15 to 35 degree system for both of the products. And then one question I saw here was where was the wind tunnel testing performed? The wind tunnel testing was actually performed at the University of Western Ontario with Dr. Greg Kopp.
Another question that came up was what material is the top clamp made from?
The top clamps are made from stainless steel.
And I think we have time for another question is, what connects the modules to the horizontal pipe? And I believe this was for the ballasted ground mount system.
The ballasted ground mount system, I may go back here, is connected using panel clamps. Can I go back? Which you can see here. Any other questions?
And another question that came in is, can you put the modules in landscape fashion for the ballasted system?
Not at this time. This is our current ballasted ground mount system, but we're always open to suggestions on our products.
Another question is, do you have a too high portrait option?
No, we actually do foreign landscape, and the too high in portrait option essentially gets you the same density on site.
And with that, I think I'd like to move on in the essence of time, just to make sure that we get through the presentation and respectful of everyone's time. So, as we talked about, we have our combiner boxes and we have our two roof mount products. One's called Core, which is new, and Precision, which is coming out. And if you'd like to learn more about those, we invite you to come to our next webinar, the latest innovation in roof mount systems. It will be shown at the same time on June 26th. That's 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We'll be sending out an email invite soon, but if you like, you can register by going to our training page on our website. And that actually ends our webinar. If you'd like to actually see those videos again, you can visit the pages that you see on our presentation. And again, we'll be sending those to you in a follow-up email from this webinar. We'd also like to thank you for your time today and joining us for the Turnkey Solution, Ground Mount Turnkey Solutions webinar. And we'll also stay around for another 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions that you may have. And let's see, we do have some questions coming in.
So one question I see here, can the system terrain follow on slopes or undulating fields? And I think this was for the large-scale ground mount system. Yes, we can design our system to be plumb with grade or perpendicular to grade so that you can follow the terrain easily.
Another question we had was, do you provide any training either on-site or at your facilities?
Oh, yes, we definitely provide training on-site at our facilities in San Leandro. We have a 20-kilowatt installation of our large-scale ground mount system located in the facility. So if you want to get your hands on it, please send us an email at sales@sunlink.com, and we'll set up a time to visit.
Another question that came in is, what is the lead time for your large-scale ground mount system?
So our large-scale ground mount system is a newer product. Right now we have a 12-week lead time, but in the start of August we will have a 6-week lead time.
Another question that came in about our balance of system, do you offer special pricing for the integrated system wiring, grounding, combiner boxes, and racking?
Yes, of course, we can look at your project size and get you the best price available for the balance of system.
Very good question. Someone just actually submitted a question that we just answered. Can SunLink provide training?
And yes, of course, SunLink can provide training. Again, we have a 20-kilowatt installation of our large-scale ground mount system in our San Leandro facility. So please send an email to sales@sunlink.com, and we can set up a time to do that. And in terms of on-site training, we will discuss it based on the project. If you need training on-site, we will get you training on-site. And then we also have a question about, can our system work with frameless modules? And yes, it can. LGMS. For the LGMS. And then we have a question of how deep do the posts go? And that is purely based on the site-specific geotechnical conditions. So we can work with you to get a geotech performed on site and then design the post to the post depth.
Okay, folks, we've run over our actual scheduled time, so sorry that if you have more questions, please feel free to email webinar@sunlink.com, and we can answer those questions for you. Once again, we appreciate your time today for listening in on our turnkey solutions for ground mount systems, and please be sure to return for our June 26th webinar, and I'll put that back up on the screen, for the roof mount systems. So the latest innovation in roof mount systems on June 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Again, thank you, and for more questions, please email webinar@sunlink.com.